So the recording started, and I think we can start. So first part of our event will be from our honorable guests. Will maybe give some advices, some welcoming speech, and we will start with the head of the School of International Regional Studies, Faculty of World Economy and International Affairs, HEC University, Dr. Vera Vishnikova. Dr. Vera Vishnikova is an academic advisor of our project, the Voice of Youth, in which we hold this event. So now I want to give to our academic advisor, Dr. Vishnikova. Are you?
Yeah, dear colleagues,
So please, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Warm greetings from St. Petersburg. Yes, I came to St. Petersburg yesterday, and really online helps us to make such great conference from different place of our world. And dear colleagues, dear friends, and our dear young leaders, hello, everybody. As a head of the School of International Regional Studies of the Faculty of World Economy and International Affairs of the HC University, I have the honor to welcome you all to our round table. I would like to note that this is already the second event with the framework of the International Earth Dialogue, Voice of the Future, which is aimed at uniting active Earth from different countries of the world and corners of our planet. Topic of our discussion is one of the most relevant since the implementation of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals determines what our future will be and what common home will be, our planet Earth. A special role in achieving the stated goals is assigned the representatives of the younger generation, for whom the future is already today. Implementing the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals requires young people who can inspire and motivate their peers to change for the better. Our round table is aimed at discussing the prospects for young participation in the implementation of the UN SDGs and promoting young generations in the implementations of sustainable development mechanisms of Afghanistan, Egypt, Pakistan, Russia. I am confident that today's dialogue will be another important step in strengthening friendship and mutual understanding between the young leaders of our countries. I wish us a fruitful event and positive results. Moreover, thank you all our honored guests, speakers, and listeners for taking the time to accept our invitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishnikova, for such great and warm words for wishes. Great pleasure. One more time, thank you for this opportunity, giving us this opportunity to organize this great event, because this time, the second time of this project, we united more than 4 countries. And also we have participants from different countries. I mean, more than Afghanistan, Pakistan, Egypt, and Russia. So, dear colleagues, now I want to give floor to our next great speaker and also honorable guest, our Dr. Andrei Baklanov, head of the Center for MENA Studies at School of International Regional Studies, Faculty of World Economy and International Affairs, ex-ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and one of our also like an academic advisor. Andrei Glebovich, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Murad. It's a great pleasure to be here with you and to greet you. I would like to stress one thing. Due to the experience of many of my colleagues and my own experience, to be successful, you must have some prerequisites. And one of the key prerequisite for us to be successful it's the having the opportunities for easy access to the relevant people elsewhere in different countries, in different regions. And more than this, it's important that when you are a youngster and you establish this horizontal context, it will give excellent results in 10, in 20, and 30 years when we'll be at high posts. Well, for instance, when I was in Egypt and I had an opportunity as a youngster to have contacts with those who were at the level of interpreter and attaché, we gathered together and we knew each other. And after 25, 30 years, many of these guys became vice ministers, etc., etc. And it was when I came in for the third time in Egypt, it was very easy to work and to organize my work because I knew a lot of people at the key posts. So this is a recommendation for you. You're on the right way of establishing the context between those who are the same attitude, the same speciality, or the same sphere of interest. We are talking today one of the key issues of the international relations. So, well, I think that you are obtaining this very necessary opportunity to be successful in the future. So I wish you every possible success in dealing with the certain aspects of the international relations, including sustainable development as we are well dealing today. And I wish you in future expanding your horizontal contacts, especially with the Russian colleagues here. And we, of course, will give every possible opportunity to render assistance in this very noble and useful work. All successes to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baklanov. It's really great course. As we all know, that the name of our project is the Voice of Future, because today youngsters, young leaders, the young people who lead the majority of young population, they are really be decided what will be with our future. Will we make a great future for everyone, or we will fail, and it depends on us. So thank you so much. Now I want to give floor to our next honorable guest, Dr. Ramazan Daourov, head of political section at the Embassy of the Russian Federation to Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, and also head of Afghanistan sector of the Institute of Oriental Studies of the Russian Academy of Sciences. Dr. Daourov, please, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. From Afghanistan, I should say Assalamu alaikum wa Ramadan Mubarak to all. And it's also, well, for Russia, because in Russia we have more than 20 million Muslim people, and most of them are young. So far, April in Paris is very nice, but April for Afghanistan, it so happened many times in the history that I recall only the revolution, the South Revolution of 27th of April, 1978. And I was younger than you when I first arrived to Afghanistan to be an interpreter. I was only 20 after 1 year crash course. And so I understand what you feel now. And there is a very old saying that if you are going to somewhere, you first ask those who are coming back from there. So first of all, best and special regards to my old friend, Ambassador Andrei Glebovich. We met, you remember, with the delegation of Primakov on the eve of this war in Iraq. You've been ambassador to Saudi Arabia, and we had this very interesting experience. And this is also a good experience for you, since you see, I am actually really also head of Afghan section in Russian Academy of Sciences, Institute of Oriental Studies. But now I am in the embassy. Vice versa, Andrei Glebovich was in many embassies. I mean, he is, he's ambassador forever, but now he has his academic capacity. So far, you must be flexible, and rotation is also good for you. Well, you see, of course, Afghanistan, I see nice faces and, also people from the most important neighbor, Pakistan, and Egypt being a bit far away, but it is close due to its role as a leader of Arab world so far. Greetings to all, and well, I won't speak too much, but really, September 11 is, by coincidence, my birthday, and Americans promised, just to withdraw troops by September 11. So far, this 20-year war is over, and it is not the war over, the operation over. The war is still going on, and every day people are killed. And even this younger generation, it's really very hurting when you think about these girls standing in the bus stop and they do not know whether they come back this evening. So far, Blinken is here in Kabul, so this is ambassador calling me. Will you excuse me? I'll just be back. I'll be back. Thank you very much. And
thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
As Dr. Ramazan Jagafarovich said, that unfortunately we have a time which we can see a war many points of Middle East and North Africa region. But I hope that together with you, dear colleagues, we will cooperate and try to maybe find another way how to resolve these conflicts, how to establish a dialogue between different conflict parts. So now I want to give to our another honorable guest, to Dr. Andrei Fisun. He's a director of the Russian Center for Science and Culture in Karachi. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you all, and my congratulations for everybody. Actually, most of the important words have already been said, so I have to add just a few ones. This is a great event to my mind because different countries are participating in it. Well, actually, this is we are now entered the period of changes in the international politics. And the floor, as Murat says, is yours, young man. Younger generation has the floor to go into. And I wish you courage to go into this floor because, as it was already said, the situation in Afghanistan that is central now for the foreign affairs is very complicated, if not to say frightening. Actually, everybody wants peace, but it comes to be war in the end. This is for you, young people, young generation, to keep the peace, the peaceful situation, and to improve it. And looking at each other, looking at other countries, trying to understand the different culture, traditions. I think you will be more able than our past generation to do good for the whole world. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fisun. So now I want to give to one of our partners and from participants of the first meeting roundtable to my dear colleague Yahya Amin Khan. He's a Youth Chief Minister of the Provincial Youth Assembly in Pakistan. Dear Amin, please.
Thank you, Murad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I would like to wish you all a very happy Ramadan to my Muslim brothers. Right after that, we are thankful to the countries who has made effort, Afghanistan, Russia, Pakistan, and Egypt, who has made effort of being a part of this another conference and the youth standing up over here. Right after that, Murad, I'm very glad to see you, Ms. Veera and Sir Andre again on a platform. My platform, basically, which I am representing and which my youth is going to represent here, is the Provincial Youth Assembly. The Youth Assembly basically is a platform which represents the youth and which gives a message from the youth and which works on the youth as an improvement of the democratic culture in this country. Basically, it also is playing a role in the social works, and it plays different kinds of social works around the world, not even in the country Pakistan. Today's topic is actually very important, and it is very vital to connect the youth of the countries. I think now is the time where it was very needed and where we need to be on board, and we need to fall all the differences away. We need to make a punch now, a punch of youth who can come united and who can play a role and who can make quite a change to the world now. I think the SDG goals, all of these goals are vitally important, and if we act on them, we can bring the world together. And I think this youth, which is going to make a huge change tomorrow, they'll be the one, and the one on this platform are going to be the leaders tomorrow. They'll be playing their roles. We need to aware people about these SDG goals, and we need to make them come close. We want to protect them with the awareness of these SDG goals. My speakers are going to speak in details about them. I don't want to take much of your time. I'll only say that I want the youth to be on one platform, to be one voice, and to interact. And all the youth who are present here, may this chair get more stronger. At the end, I pray that may this pandemic end, and may we see each other on one table, one platform in one country together, inshallah. And I hope it is going to be a great experience as we had before. I pray for you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear Yahya. So now I want to give floor to our next honorable guest and representative of one of the co-organizers. He's a member of the Kateb Educational and Cultural Association in the Russian Federation. His name is Nurullah Muhammadi. Nurullah, please, where are you? The floor is yours, please.
I'm here. Greeting to all. And as Mr. Sadiq Zada told, that I am a member of the Kateb Educational and Cultural Association in Russian Federation. And today I am, instead of my brother and my friend, the head of the Kateb Educational and Cultural Association in Russian Federation. He was he was feeling bad a little bit, and we all hope him get healthy as soon as possible. And I think I, as a member of Kateb Educational and Cultural Association in Russian Federation, and as a participant of this round table, think that the role of the role of youth is in achieving the 17 UN SDGs is so important, and organizing and having this round table is so important for every participant, for every young, because every one of us is as a messenger for all the for our friends, family, society, or our country. And having these round tables make us to know more about the life. And I think this world is so big for every member of this planet to have a better life. And I thanks to the main organizers of this round table. It means the School of International Regional Studies and Faculty of World Economy and International Affairs. And I thank to the co-organizers, Russian Middle East Association, Provincial Youth Assembly in Pakistan. And I want to thanks to all the speakers and to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Nurullah, for such warm words. So I hope, if you let me, I want to add some words like a coordinator of this event. I really believe that the idea of uniting the young people from different parts of the world will be beneficial and for everybody, not only for young person, not only for some countries, yes, but for everyone. Why? Because first of all, those young people, they are more creative. I'm so sorry for our vulnerable older generation, but really, from the point of view from young people, they are more flexible. They are ready to change everything. They are ready to go to right and try to change the situation, try to make it better. And especially in this period, we see during the pandemic, during the different trouble moments in our life in international affairs, even in politics. Of course, politics is a business of some older generation, but now young people, as we see from different parts of the world, they actively engaged in political activity. So one more time, I want to thanks all of our honorable guests for their welcoming speech. And now I think it's time to start our main part. It will be like a round table, two persons, two speakers from each countries. We will start with Afghanistan, but before we will start, I would remind some rules. Please, during the speech of our speakers, turn off your microphone because it will maybe some mess and will stop our from listening to our speaker. So if you will have a question at the end of our discussion, roundtable will be divided into two parts. At the end will be question and answer session. If you will have any question, please use raise your hand function or write in chat. So now we will start with our first speaker, Ansari Mustafa from Afghanistan. He's a lecturer at Balkh University and also a member of Kateb Educational and Cultural Association.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone up to this great international youth dialogue. I appreciate your presence at this difficult time for us to voice out our problems that we are facing in our countries and outline some solutions to them. Without much ado, I would use this great opportunity to thank the organizer and co-organizer for giving us such a great platform for bringing solutions to such pathetic problems that undeveloped countries are facing. I am most grateful for this. As you said, I am Ansari Mustafa, the Kateb Member Association, Literature at Balkh University, and right now I am PhD student at Rostov University of Economics. Today, the topic that I'm discussing is one of the important and hot articles in Afghanistan. The topic is the importance and role of youth in Afghan peace process. Afghanistan today faces enormous challenges like inequality, injustice, extremes, terrorism, violence, high unemployment, health threats, natural disaster, mass migration, and mass deportation, drought, lack of fresh water, adverse environmental impacts, and looting of natural resources. We need an Afghanistan free of poverty and hunger, violence and injustice, insecurity and instability, inequality and discrimination, so that citizens can have a dignified and happy life. Therefore, without the contribution of youth in keep peace, we can never overcome this phenomena. That these are three indicators of UN developers. Peace is one of the most important values that a country should have. Peace cannot be belong to a particular class or group. but to all individuals and citizens of a country. Because peace affects the life and destiny of all people, regardless of gender, age, or class. Therefore, youth is one of the main groups which peace relates. The natural connection of peace with the youth, this relationship has become more permanent and important in the current situation in Afghanistan, because young people today are among the main victims of the war in the country. Afghan youth grew up with the sound of cannons and guns, and we are the generation of fire and smoke, but we don't see war as a solution. But the only way to achieve development and stability is mutual acceptance of peace and acquiring of knowledge. The immediate short-term, long-term problems barrier will not hinder the achievement of our country's goal and development. The youth of the country always try to broaden their knowledge through education, vocational skills, and opportunity work acquiring skills and experience in taking a step toward the development of our country. Young people, despite having higher education, motivation, and commitment to the development of the country, suffer from incompetence, lack of planning, elderly employees, and existence of corruption. All this shows that peace talks are directly related to the youth and that the youth must play a role in it. Investing in the youth, the country will develop and be built by the efforts of youth. About 63% of Afghanistan's population are young people, the class that actually make the backbone of the community. Despite the fact that in past few years, working in the areas of training, education, employment, participation, health, sports, and gender equality, it has been done by Afghan government, but it still have a very serious problems such as unemployment, addiction, illegal immigration, violence, security, poverty, and deportation. Youths are the leader of reform and change. The discouraged group in the past few years in major national processes such as election, defense of the country, protection of the territorial integrity, and national interests, raising the tricolor flag of the country in regional and world games. They have played the key role in the nation building. Today, development is tight engaged with the peace and security. If we cannot bring peace to our country, we will fail in all areas. There will be no peace without the youth's participation in our country and peace development. Therefore, the youth play a positive role in the position of the country's peacekeeping. The youth are the constructive key, worthy force of the country. The development of the country depends on the understanding and expert of the youth, but some Afghan politicians are exploiting the ignorance and belief of the youth. The youth must play a role in high peace council because it's the youth who can solve the peace crisis of the country intellectually. In all societies, regardless of the orientation and characteristic, attention on focus on the youth elitism, providing the necessary facilities for education, training, health, work, and constructive real participation in national process and increasing their role in governmental and non-governmental structures and institutions. It has led to the growth of the capacity and development for the youth, leading the society to progress, develop, and mutual agreement among youth. One of the indicators of the human development and United Nations, through which the level of the development and prosperity in countries are assessed. It's the existence of young people, which is considered as a serious factor of change, transformation, and development in all dimensions. Countries that have managed their youth population healthy and used positively, they develop. But our country, which hasn't been successful in this regard, has become a serious challenge of socioeconomic stability and development. Nations have been successful in the history and have achieved their purpose by capacity building and creating health motivations for the real participation of young people in various sectors. Equally responsible and prosperous young people are trained positively, constructively, and coexisting in create in the society, leading to progress and excellence. The unsettled political and security situation in Afghanistan in the last 4 decades has become the biggest obstacle to socio-cultural development of the country's youth. So which young people are desperate of education and equal opportunities in this field, has which lead the growing of social threats. Resulted from abnormal situation, we have been abnormal results to political, economical, security, and social situation of the country. As a result, a group of young people joined drug gangs, trafficking groups, and terrorism groups, and traveled outside the country due to the security, poverty, and economic problems. The failure of government and leaders against the youth or expectation has caused disappointed in their future expectations. It has been always said that Afghan youth are the future leaders. This is an historical deception that has been told about this capacity through history, but by this reason, they have marginalized from us for many years. As a youth of Afghanistan, I believe that youth are the major role can play a major role in peace process at the current situation, but requires is to have fundamental rule planning, conscious and mobilization of young people to play this role. And I consider peace is one of the main indicator of national development. The opportunity of the last 2 decades have provided a good platform to the growth and development of young people. Today, we have witnessing educated, experienced, and skillful young generation in Afghanistan. But unfortunately, many young people, many young generation in people in the country who have high management talent have been marginalized, and they have been ignored by the peace national peace processes. Thanks for your attention. That's all.
Thank you so much, dear Mustafa. Dear colleagues, we will, as I see,
Hello, everyone.
I'm so sorry, but our question and answer session will be at the end. Okay, now we will
Okay,
go
okay.
next speaker. Just write down your question, and then we will ask. So now I want to give word to our charming guest and speaker from Egypt, Mina. Mina, are you here? She's an academic organizer in the model of the EU. Mina, marhaban, please, the floor is yours.
Well, I would just like to thank you all in the beginning for this warm welcoming and for having this initiative to talk about the role of the youth in the implementation of the SDGs, and for giving me this opportunity to be here participating with all of you. So as you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic had created a global economic crisis alternating from a health crisis to a socio-global economic crisis. And in the face of this crisis, the country started to adopt confinement and lockdown measures, which constituted a setback for the implementation of the world's ambitions of the Sustainable Development Goals. However, during this pandemic, the role of the youth we must shed light on the role of the youth during this pandemic, because they were on the front line. They were the health workers, they were the activists, they were the community workers. So they played a huge role during this pandemic across the world. However, and despite these challenges that all the countries are facing around the world, Egypt continued, moved on track to implement its SDGs strategy. Recent reports published and issued by the United Nations revealed that Egypt in 2020 ranked the 83rd position in its implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, moving 9 spots forward from 2019. Another report also revealed that Egypt's implementation of the SDGs scored the highest in the Arab region by 50%. So along the line of the implementation of the UN SDG agenda, and Egypt works toward implementing its own plan, which is known as Egypt Vision 2030, or the Sustainable Development Strategy. And while forming this plan, Egypt took in consideration the role of the youth in the implementation of the SDG, specifically that the youth constitutes about 60% of the population in Egypt. So it was vital and it was important for Egypt to include and ensure the role of the youth in the implementation of the development strategy. For example, there were a lot of initiatives and a lot of programs that were created by the government to ensure the role of the youth in the implementation of the SDG. For example, recently the Ministry of Planning announced about an initiative called the Sustainable Development Ambassadors Initiative. This initiative basically calls for youth to be ambassadors, to campaign and to make campaigns and raise awareness about the Sustainable Development Goals and how the vision of Egypt 2030, and why is it important for the youth to participate and have a role in this initiative. Also, other initiatives by the government, like the World Youth Forum. The World Youth Forum, I believe it's very well known. It's a platform that gathers around thousands of people from different countries, of course, including Egyptians. This platform is a place whereby all the youth have the ability to contribute and reveal their ideas, their opinions regarding the Sustainable Development Goals and about the issues or the obstacles that the governments are facing in terms of the implementation of these goals. And actually, what's more important than the government initiatives is that the government actually takes in consideration the ideas proposed by the youth. For example, recently, the governor of Cairo accepted an initiative by 2 youth organizations. The initiative basically called for the gardening of the rooftops of all buildings in Cairo. And the government actually is working toward the implementation of this plan at the current moment. Apart from the initiatives created by the government, the youth also created their own NGOs, non-governmental organizations. They created their own platforms. Some of these organizations were working with the government in a collaboration with the government. Some of these programs or organizations play a very vital role in terms of raising awareness about the SDGs and how the youth play a positive role in terms of the implementation of the government plan. For example, there is the Sdg Action Campaign by the UN Resident Coordination here in Egypt. This campaign makes sure that there is a dialogue between the official authorities and youth and the ideas proposed by the youth and the youth organization. The campaign also works toward going to national universities, raising awareness campaigns regarding the SDGs, and letting the people to get to know more about the Egypt 2030 vision. There are also a lot of other initiatives created by the youth. There is Egypt 2030, there is the Arab Youth Initiative for Sustainable Development. All of these are Egyptian efforts that work toward disseminating the ideas and the concepts of sustainable development and how to work on and move to achieve them. So I believe that basically that the active youth engagement in sustainable development works toward having a sustainable and a developed society. So I believe that's very important for countries around the world, even for the Egyptian country, to ensure the continuous role of the youth in having a role and in contributing their ideas in the implementation of the SDGs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minna. It was really so great and amazing. So now I want to give from our colleague speaker from Pakistan. His name is Irfanullah Khan Bajur. He's a youth member of the Assembly. Irfanullah, please. Unfortunately, we can't hear you, or maybe, please.
Hello?
Yes, it's okay.
I'm a student in second year of culture and some.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Maybe it's something wrong with my computer, but dear colleagues.
Yeah. Sir, I'm not listening you this time.
Now it's okay. Now I can hear you. Yes, but before I can't. And if it's possible, could you please turn your camera, because now we see you like a vertical position.
Sir, are you listening me now?
Yes, yes, we are listening. We are hearing
Okay.
you.
So my name is Irfanullah. I'm from Pakistan and belong to Provincial Youth Assembly, a youth assembly. And I would like to talk about the 17 points agenda of the UN SDG. As we know that the 17 points are very important points, and we hope that these points will be implemented in the year 2030. The 17 points are very important, and the youth can play a vital role in achieving these 17 points. As you all know that the youth are very energetic and can achieve all these points when they do hard work. I would like to talk about justice and peace, which is the main important points in the 17 points agenda. As you know that justice, peace, and education as the key to success. If we see the state where there is full peace and education, these are considered as the developed and financial strong countries or states. The state which is totally in peace and there is no conflict are very prosperous and economically very strong. And on the other hand, if we take the example of Syria, where 1.8 million children and youngsters lost access to get to school educations due to the armed conflict here in Syria. And about 50% youth in the Palestine are unemployed due to the armed conflict in Palestine. And so on, we see the people in Kashmir, about 20% people, youngsters in Kashmir are suffering from stress and tension due to the armed conflict here in Kashmir. And about 30% college and university students are unemployed due to the armed conflict in Kashmir. If we see the Afghanistan war, there was no way for the children, for the youngster to go to school, and they were limited to their homes, and they can't get their basic educations. Now, if we take the example of youth, the youth are very energetic. They can highlight their issue in their countries, their state, and their local areas. If we take the example of the youth, they can highlight their issues and their respective areas through social media, and can highlight these issues through the international media as well. So the youth can play a vital role to highlight the issues, to highlight the human rights situation in their respective areas, and can highlight to these issues to the United Nations or to the other countries as well. As the United Nations are responsible to ensure the human rights and to protect the human right as well, as according to the Article 17 of the UDHR, United Declaration for Human Rights, that all persons are equal before law and there will be no discrimination among them. All are equal and all are equally treated with law. This article clearly mentioned that there will be no discrimination and all the person living in the state will be liable and will be equal to law. So the youth of the affected area must be given the platform to highlight their issues and to highlight the issues to the UN SDGs agenda. So the youth can highlight their issues to the UN SDGs agenda, and I hope the UN SDGs agenda can implement these issues into the roundtable as well. And youth are the leader of the future. Youth are considered as the leader of the future. So the youth can achieve many goals, and the youth can bring positive change to their state, to their environment, and to their local areas. And the last, I would suggest to the roundtable to ensure the youth for culture exchange program, the UN SDGs must take steps to sponsor the youth for culture program from one countries and to another countries. And those countries which are present in this roundtable conference must invite different delegation from one country to another country to highlight various issues and to discuss various issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Irfanullah. We hope that this pandemic will end in the near future and we will start, because in 2020 on April, we should visit Pakistan. It will be a delegation from the Russian Federation on the level of government, but in our university. But unfortunately, as you know, the pandemic will distract all our plans. So now I want to give floor to our Russian speakers, Elmira Imamkulieva. She's a senior lecturer, School of International Regional Studies, Faculty of World Economy and International Affairs at HEC University, and also the head of the SDG, the United Nations SDG Center at the Russian Middle East Association. Elmira, please, the floor is yours.
Murat, thank you very much for the introduction. First of all, please give me the way my internet channel today is quite weak, but do you hear me quite well, or probably I should?
Yes, everything is good. Okay. The sound is good.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to welcome all the participants of today's roundtable. I think that it's really the first step towards youth joining efforts towards sustainable development. And actually, I would like to say thank you to the previous speakers, because lots of wise and deep ideas were already spoken. And from my point of view, all of you, of course, know and have heard about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so they were set in 2015, and we look at them like a lighthouse or benchmark. But the main problem of this agenda 2030 implemented by United Nations is that we don't know the way. What is actually the shortest way towards sustainable development? Nobody knows, because nobody has reached it yet. And from this point of view, I think that the dialogue between youth, young people in different countries is really quite important, because understanding the way how we can join our efforts and reach sustainable development is a key point for the youth, and it will be the matter for the future. And of course, the challenge as well, as we have seen during the pandemic, that lots of things have changed, and our attitude actually to things also have changed. And I think that young people are among the first ones who will be to accept these challenges and to find solutions for them. And this is really important. I would like to tell you about my story, how actually I got acquainted with Sustainable Development Goals. First of all, I'm a scientist. I'm a specialist in Middle East countries, but I was among the organizers committee for World Festival of Youth and Students that was held in 2017 in Sochi. And actually, in the middle, in the key program, the key points for the program was Sustainable Development Goals. And Russia was visited by different people from all over the world, young people. And actually, I saw that they are really happy to support this agenda. This is someone that we have in common. Nobody can say that, no, I won't participate, because they understand it's for Earth, it's for our future. What actually was really important during World Festival Youth and Students? First of all, actually, it was the idea to establish Middle East Association, one of the actual main results for me of this festival. And we launched one of the first ecological initiative, young initiative for the Middle East countries. It was the call for Relay for Earth. Actually, the idea was quite simple: to join our efforts, to join efforts of different youth in different countries, Middle East countries, to plant trees, to plant new green trees or plants or anything like this, and to show it in the internet that actually we support green agenda, not only in Russia, not only in Pakistan or Egypt or etc., Afghanistan, for example, but we are ready to join our initiative. But actually, of course, we are facing lots of different problems on the way to sustainable development. And actually, Sustainable Development Goals, it's not something new. We have before Millennium Development Goals. It was a little bit different, but it was also the way towards sustainable development. Now we have these lighthouses. We try to reach them. But I would like to point your attention to, for example, Sustainable Development Goal number 2, Zero Hunger. The official wording is end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. But actually, what we have in figures, in indicators, according to the United Nations statistics, there are around 690 million people who are hungry, which accounts around roughly 10% of the world population. And 1 in every 9 people goes to bed hungry each night, including 20 million people currently in, for example, Sudan, Somalia, Yemen, or Nigeria. That actually something that we have to think about. And probably the main result for me of this roundtable is, of course, that we have already gathered. So we are really open for new initiatives. And as far as I got acquainted with young ambassadors for Sustainable Development Goals. I mean, we have today, I know, the opportunity to meet one of the young ambassadors for SDGs in Russia, but I have met during the festival world youth ambassadors, and I really admired their way of life. It's not the project, it's really the way of life. They really believed that, for example, and it was the movement, for example, of Afroz Shah, who actually started gathering rubbish and waste on the seashore, on the coast. And he really succeeded in it. And it was already like the group, and they together did their coast, their shores clean. And it was really surprising because I saw the photos before and after this, and it was amazing. But it was in their hands, in hands of youth. Start and do it. And for me, it's really important to, when, for example, probably we can agree at the end of this round table on any real project or initiative. It could be like flash mob, probably it could be plugin marathon or something like this that actually will be held in all our countries and will be supported by the youth in different countries. And I think that it will be the best result showing that we're moving towards sustainable development. We don't know how, but we are looking for the solutions. I will be brief today and I will be open to your questions during the question session at the end of the round table.
Thank you so much, Elmira. It was really a great speech and so attractive. So now
you're ready for the marathon, right, Murat?
Yes, I'm ready now. The Russian Middle East Association, we plan to do it, but unfortunately, according to the pandemic situation, I hope that we will find out a way how to make it better. So now I want to give floor another charming person and speaker, Firuza Muradi. She's a representative of Mukhtar in Afghanistan. Firuza, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thanks for each member and guest speakers who they are taking place in this event, this meeting. My name is Firuza Muradi. I'm one of students at American University of Central Asia in International Comparative Politics Department. It's truly an honor for me to take place among these expert and well-experienced personalities in this meeting. As all of us know about the SDG goals and Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations, that it designed to achieve for better and more sustainable future for all human beings in this world. And this aim is until 2030. So the SDG goal is the responsibility of everyone around the world, especially for me, for young generation, because the young generation will be the future leaders, as my colleagues state that. And these young generation will be in the position to decide the future on the beyond of their countries. So due to these reasons, I highly appreciate the youth participation in these similar social activities or conferences in their community. I want to point out the main problem, as my colleagues discuss, that currently Afghanistan face with that, that since I'm talking on the beyond of my country, Afghanistan, as a young activist, and I'm stating the main problems, which is mainly poverty and education, in my belief. Although there are many problems that Afghanistan is dealing with that for a long year, but the main problem for me is the poverty in the state. And this poverty is not that has affection in the economic level, but also it has a direct affection on the education level in Afghanistan. And as we all witness that Afghan youths are the only victim of this problem, because every nation can live at a low economic level. They could survive in any possible way, but there are no nation that who could live or lead their countries without knowledge, experience, and education. So Afghan youth have, this energy, talent, time that need to be investigated in the education sector. They need to build themselves first in order to build their country as their main goal. And I believe these 17 goals are linked to each other. To achieve one of the SDG goals, if you're targeting one of the SDG goals, it means that you're planning to achieve the second one, which they have very linked with each other. So we need to consider the root of the main problems to come up with a solution. In my point of view, the main problem in Afghanistan is the quality education, as we consider the fourth goal of SDG goal. So a nation must need to investigate in the education of their youth, that these could have the chance to feel responsible on the behalf of their country one day and investigate their energy to build their home country. And there are common solution for poverty in education sector in Afghanistan is that I believe that I come up with some solution since we are witness of that because I grew up in Afghanistan, and in my point of view, this solution, if they implement, so we could, have a good result and consequence. The first thing is primary, secondary, and higher education must become compulsory obligation for each citizens of Afghan in our country. The second thing is government must support education for each children and provide facilities, at least basic needs, until the secondary level of education. The third one is Afghan government must be capable to accept the number of students based on the number of students during the consideration for the university entrance exam, because we could see most of Afghan students after their high school, they don't have the chance to go and to start their university. The fourth one is government must build kindergartens and schools in different regions to make compulsory rule for each citizens until each citizens become familiar with the core value of quality education and the government rules and constitution. The fifth solution is government should consider punishment rules as an article in the constitution for families who don't let their children to go to school, especially there are gender gap that we have, the girls' education, which is matter. And the sixth one is government must update the curriculum activities and books in the education system at different level, primary, secondary, and high school. And they're wanting us requests from development countries, and maybe United Nations can support the underdevelopment countries by providing them scholarship for youth. For youth that they're coming from country underdevelopment countries, because they never had this opportunity to work on their skills, on their talents. And I do believe that considering the main problem and solution, we can come up with the immense support, the government for youth, both in their academic and personal life. And youths need to feed or they have to learn knowledge. And that's the only thing they need to lead them in a purposeful direction in the future. And all I could say is that knowledge and experiences are the only thing we could transfer for the next generation in every nation, not only Afghanistan, but in all around the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this great speech. And so I'm wondering that the majority of speakers, they outline the importance of education. And I think we find out our main field of cooperation. So now I want to give to our second charming person from Egypt. His name is Tasneem Mohammed Osman. Hi. So Tasneem is also academic organizer and is a model of the European Union. And the floor is yours, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank everyone who's attending this meeting. And I want to be more specific, and I will talk about goal number 9, the industry, innovation, and infrastructure, in 2 aspects. First, the initiative that the Egyptian government has done to achieve this goal, and I will mention only 2 of these initiatives and the role of the Egyptian youth in them. Second, I will talk about some successful young experiences that have a significant impact in the field of entrepreneurship in Egypt. So first, Egypt is implementing an initiative called 1000 Entrepreneurs, and this initiative aims to educating young people to shift to the idea of entrepreneurship with the aim of reaching 1000 entrepreneurs nationwide within only 3 months. As one of the activities of the pioneers of Egypt initiatives. Also, this initiative is neat on developing the skills of young people and preparing them for the requirements of the labor market and encouraging them to turn to the small project. And a group of Egyptian young entrepreneurs provide a set of specialized training courses to these trainees in order to train them on methods of preparing economic feasibility studies, help them set up their small business and projects, and provide them with their experience in the Egyptian labor market. Second, Egypt also launched a new phase of a new initiative called Your Key Your Project, and this is by coordination with the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Small and Medium Enterprises Authority to support entrepreneurs to establish versus project. And the first phase of this initiative was launched in 2018 with the aim of selecting the best 3 projects at the level of the government of the Republic and allocating £1,000 to finance and implementing each project. And the effect of this initiative was very good, and it had a great benefit. About the second aspect, which is about the successful young experiences that have a significant impact in this field of entrepreneurship in Egypt. First, I want to talk about Swavel Egypt. It's an bus transportation company through an application on mobile phone, and it's based in Cairo, and with operation in more than 5 countries, founded by young Egyptian men, and in 2017, and in 2019 this company raised $42 million for expansion in Africa. It's like Uber, but this company is Egyptian, and it provides transportation service all over Egypt and with a low cost, and the service is very good and safe. Last but not least, one of the most famous young businessmen in the world, he's Egyptian, he's Ahmed Abu Hashima. He's founder of the Egyptian Steel Company, and the Egyptian businessman was able to establish the Egyptian Steel Factory, which succeeded in producing 2 million tons in 2015. He also established a building materials company, Egyptian Cement, and he launched a major competition for entrepreneurship called Prepare Your Idea and I will be by your side. This competition will be implemented as follows: by launching an application through his website to send the project ideas. And the best 30 projects will be chosen to partner with their owners financially and technically. All these examples are considered as 2 sides of one coin, and the government and the Egyptian youth are joining to achieve the ninth goal of the Sustainable Development Goals in Egypt, which is to build good infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and promote innovation. In the end, I want to make it clear that the Egyptian youth have a lot of new and creative ideas in the field of entrepreneurship, but they were waiting for an opportunity to show this creativity, and now Egypt has begun to help them in creating better opportunities for the emergence of these successful models in Egypt. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was interesting presentation. Really, the last events and issues in Egypt also show us that Egypt will go to the future and so successful. Thank you so much. So now I want to give floor to Abdulrahman Farooqi. He's from Pakistan, Youth Education Minister, Provincial in Afghanistan. Abdulrahman, please. Could you please turn on your microphone? We can't hear you. Please, is it something wrong with my computer or you also can't hear? Abdulrahman, unfortunately we can't hear you because you should turn on your microphone. Maybe he's busy. Okay, so if now I give floor to our speaker from Russia, Anastasia. Anastasia, I'm so sorry. Now I'm just outlined that you are from Krasnoyarsk and it's so late in Krasnoyarsk. If I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, may I introduce you? Anastasia, as our colleagues from Egypt and different countries mentioned, one of the young ambassador for sustainable development of Russia in Russia in 2017, 2018, and she's also educational project coordinator, Krasnoyarsk Regional Organization, etc. Please.
Hello.
Abdulrahman, I'm so sorry. We'll come to you first.
Can you hear me, please? There's a technical problem.
Anastasia, please continue.
So should I wait or should I?
No, you will start, speak, and after that we'll give floor to Abdulrahman because.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I don't know, we are in different time zones, as you already mentioned. I'm in Krasnoyarsk in Siberia, and it's already 9 p.m. And I would like to thank everyone for being here and for your inputs. As it was already mentioned, I work as educational coordinator in non-governmental organization, and I was young ambassador for SDGs in Russia a couple of years ago. So I would like to speak from this perspective, from the perspective of youth policy and volunteering, let's say. I'm working with young people since 2013, and I'm working with SDGs since 2017. And I can say that at the moment in our country, in Russia, SDGs and the Agenda 2030 is getting more and more widespread, let's say. Last year, 2020, our government prepared a report on the high political level. At the same time, our civil community in Russia elaborated a shadow report on the implementation of SDGs and prepared the recommendation for the government on how it may be updated or improved. At the same time, when we're talking about young people, there is a program of young ambassadors. It was already mentioned. It's implemented by the National Youth Council, and I was a part of it, but still the Agenda 2030 is not that popular and is not then visible among young people. Now we are talking about, like, we are here, all of us, and we are, I believe, well-educated young people with many opportunities from different countries who saw different perspectives and met different people. But what about young people with fewer opportunities? They're also part of the Agenda 2030, and they're also driver for the change, right? So that's what I would like to talk about, how to make this SDGs and this agenda more visible and more possible, I don't know, more clear for those young people, so they understand that they're also part of it, they can influence and they can make a change. What we can see at the moment in our country as I work in education for sustainable development, I can say there is lack of educational materials on SDGs, lack in Russian language, lack of educational events about 2030 agenda at schools, at universities, or youth events, let's say, and SDGs are not well incorporated into youth policies agenda in regions. I cannot say about all the regions because we have a lot of regions in the Russian Federation. We have great examples of the Republic of Tatarstan. They have the SDGs Academy in the region, and they train and prepare future professionals in the field, also in the field of diplomacy. But still, as I can say about my region, Siberian region, Krasnoyarsk, our Department of Youth Policy do not well aware about SDGs. So what can be done? I can also talk about the great example of how volunteering can foster and can play a vital role in SDGs implementation. In our country, voluntary movement is really well developed, and the practice shown how we could come together during the pandemic, and the volunteer movement became stronger and stronger. But still, volunteers do not associate themselves as people who foster the sustainable development, who implement actually the agenda. I was program director for the forum in Novosibirsk. This is also one of the Siberian cities, the forum for volunteers. And the topic of the forum was the role of volunteers in SDGs implementation. And it was really important. You could see how changed the perspectives of the young volunteers when they found out that actually what they do every day, how they help and assist different marginalized groups, that this is actually their contribution to the SDGs implementations. I think they realized, and when you're talking and when you show this great scope of the SDGs and sustainable developments, young people understand the complexity of the world, how we are interdependent and how we are interconnected, not only people within one country, but also young generation, young people from different countries. And they also understand the challenges, globalized challenges that we all face, and that we can all address and that we can all influence. And in my opinion, this incorporation of SDGs 2030 agenda into youth policies of different regions gives more responsibility to young people, more understanding of the world, let's say, and it gives them the feeling of self-confidence that they can make a change, they can influence, and they can go further for the social entrepreneurship, let's say, initiate their own project, as it was mentioned, like during the Sochi festival, youth festival, and etc., etc. So it activates people. We already mentioned that SDGs is about education, and I truly believe that when we are talking about this topic, is two ways direction from the government, let's say, that incorporates different programs, and also from the society, the grassroots initiatives. What can I say? In conclusion, I believe that this is the young people is the main group that address the global challenges like climate change or gender equality or peace and justice and quality education. And we could make even in our societies right now, a change that more people know about this, with information campaigns, with programs, with working with young people with few opportunities. And this is really possible for us. And this is what I do actually every day in my organizations. Thank you very much. This is all from me.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. Really, your experience is so great, and I hope that you will help us to join, how to say, more actively to implementing and doing sustainable development. So now I want to give word to our final speaker, Abdulrahman Farooqi. Abdulrahman, did you hear me? Turn on your microphone. I can't hear you again. Turn on your microphone, just. Yes.
Are you getting me, please? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
now it's okay. You can start, please.
Abdulrahman Farooqi from Pakistan, and I am Education Minister of Provincial Youth Assembly, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. This is a province in Pakistan with the name of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and I am also a chairman of Farooqi Foundations that have a few objectives. We are working on education, working on thalassemia. We are working on women empowerment, and we have a couple of other objectives as well. And right now we are running a reference center in Pakistan as well. So basically, as far as my ministry is concerned, as far as I am concerned, and my past experience is concerned, so I would like to discuss about SDG goals, namely with education and with related education with the peace prosperity. So basically, the word education, what I can say by concerning Pakistan. So in Pakistan, the level of education is very worst. It's too much. It's burning issues, and not only in Pakistan. As far as when I look at Afghanistan or Egypt or some India, so the situation is very too much worse. The literacy rate of Pakistan is around about 60%, but 60% it is not the literacy level actually which I mean. So for me, what I mean by education, education doesn't mean that somebody have some degree like that. If a mother have education, that how she can save her baby, it means it's a part of some serious education. So basically, we are far away from the basic education. So as far as fortunately we have scored 60% of literacy rate, but the basic education, we are completely failed in the basic education. And look, what about the when I am talking about the dropout of the children from the schools? We have done a project of enhancing education quality, access, and learning to prevent the dropout children from school. We have admitted a lot of schools. We have given a lot of students in school. We have given a couple of scholarships to the students to enroll back to the schools, to the institutions, to the colleges, to the universities. But we are facing a lot of problems. Our government, let's suppose, when I will talk about the budget and when I will talk about the GDP, there are in Pakistan 2.5% of GDP is spending on education, which is our situation. It should be about 5%. We have teachers. We have teachers that and student ratio of 40 teacher per 40 student per teacher. While I am studying this education system of Poland, Finland, or Japan, there are maximum 12, 13, or 14, or 15 students per teacher. So there is a big issue, too much issue. And the second thing, which I personally request to all the round table members, that there's a lot of problems. The burning issue is interfaith harmony as well. And interfaith harmony, Islamophobia, and the blasphemy, these issues, this society should be educated in such type of issues. So such type of issues, yeah, it is right now a burning issue, and we are seriously suffering from such type of the issues. No religion. I personally, I will give you reference. No religion in the world, they are the religion text that teaches header. No religion or the religious text. It is we people. We are doing this thing. We are spreading hatred. No religion or religious text spread hatred. We are doing these things. So it should be encountered. Such type of thing should be dealt with our own hands, and we can do it by educating our community, by educating our society that there is nothing in religion that spread hatred. We have to respect each other. We have to respect each religion. We have to respect Hinduism. We have to respect Sikhism. We have to respect Christianity, Judaism, Atheism, or Islam, or any religion in the world. We have to respect each other. And what I would say, from the very first day of human history, Mr. President, please, and other board members, please, from the very first day of human history, from the very first day, humanity is brutally crushed in the manacles of segregations, division, and powers. From the very first day, from the origin of Abrahamic and non-Abrahamic religion, by the origin of Semitic and non-Semitic religion, by the origins of the Semitic and non-Semitic religion, and by the emergence of some satanic sentiments, humanity is blessed with massacres, bloodshed, that ultimately resulted the clash of civilization, that ultimately resulted the world wars, that ultimately resulted the crusades. So we must educate our society. We are not capable of indulging ourselves in such type of activities. We have to need peace, prosperity. We need peace. We need prosperity. As far as Afghanistan is concerned, we are neighbor to Afghanistan, and I am from the first day a huge supporter of U.S. Afghan peace dialogue. Why I am doing so? Because the Prime Minister Imran Khan and our government, current government, is in the favor of the U.S. Afghan peace dialogue. I have spent a couple of years. I have spent 3 decades with the Afghani people. They are so much peaceful, humble, polite people, Afghanistan, and I love them. I love the Afghan people. But what is the major issue? The major issue is the lack of education, and the lack of education caused a lot of issues. So there should be a proper pattern of education. So from education, I doesn't mean the degrees. I repeat, please. I repeat, from education, I doesn't mean degree. From education, I mean the basic education. From education, I mean the socialization. From education, I mean the awareness sessions. From education, I mean the community capacity building activities. So we have to do such type of activities. And I, on the behalf of the Provincial Youth Assembly Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, I request to the all round table conference members to please visit Pakistan. Please give us such type of programs. We need a lot of scholarships. We need a lot of education-based need-based activities that you people can support us. We will visit your countries. Our students will visit your countries. Our community can visit your countries. You can come here to our countries, and it will be a very good relation between you and us. So it should be, what I can say, that justice should be done. Justice seems to be done, but Mark couldn't do justice. Plato, it is a statement of the Plato. But unfortunately, as far as we are concerned, and as far as our community is concerned, the people are basically illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. So we must be logical instead of illogical. We must be reasonable instead of unreasonable. And we must not be self-centered. We have to serve the community. And that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dear Abdulrahman. So your speech was really so emotional, and I understand that you are so aware about this question and the idea of your representation of education. So, dear colleagues, now, if you are ready, we will move to our question and answer session. And if you have any question, please use raise your hand function. Don't know how to do it, you can find out at the top line of Zoom. So if you have a question, please, or maybe you can use, yes, say it, you have some question. To whom?
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you so much. I have two questions from Mustafa Ansari. Mr. Ansari, what do you think? How does it assist the role of mediating countries in peace in Afghanistan? And as the youth of the country, what's your message for Afghan young population? Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your questions. First of all, I want to answer the second question because it is, for me, it is very necessary. Then first one, the message that I want to give for Afghan youths, it is, I call on the youths that the country to fight against illiterate and ambitious politicians who have deceived us for many decades for our position and expired has and ignored has like a young, inexperienced and ignored has. It is a decision for the young generation to try to establish their position in the level of government and decision making. They must believe that they are the leader of today and tomorrow, and with the ability and manage the young generation, we can use it by education. Second one, part of this question is, we Afghan nowadays, we have very talented and experienced youths in Afghanistan, and I call on the youths, dear youths, we Afghans are one nation, we have one common pain, one dream, common interests and harms. Let us work together to cure these pains, to make these arms come true, to achieve common interests and avert the harm. That's the second question. Could you please repeat the first question again?
Okay. What do you think? How does it assess the role of a mediating country in peace in Afghanistan?
Yeah, that's good. Know how we see all these countries nowadays are interest for Afghan peace process, but unfortunately, there are some decisions that are not very good for us for peacekeeping, because these talking or going around the world, we want talking about taking peace in Afghanistan because it should concern Afghanistan and not other countries. If they want to help us, like as I'm studying in Russia, it doesn't mean that I'm favorite of Russia, but to tell the truth, if we are concerning to Russia, Russia has helped a lot, because for the peacekeeping decisions, the first decision was made in Russia, and how we see a short time ago also was in Russia. If Russia help us, we will give a dignified and happy life in the future. Otherwise, the history is going to repeat it in Afghanistan, how it happened after 2001. It's finished.
I'm sorry, it's something with my microphone. So thank you so much. Maybe someone has also any question?
Yes, I also, as a member
Yes.
of this, yes, as a member of this participant, this round table, I have also a question from Mr. Ansari. Mr. Ansari, in your point of view, how can we help we help youths to play a more active role?
Okay. No, first of all, the youth should know their position, that they are very powerful group in a society. The second, they should separate it from the ambitious and unilliterated politicians that have been using us like a material. And third one, we can increase the role of youth by awareing and Congress. We can help them in the future of the country to establish the development and peace in our country.
So, yes, I'm so sorry. I have some problems with my connection because it's something. Okay. Now, dear colleagues, if you have another question, maybe someone, I let you to ask. If not, I have a common question to all participants. So no question. Okay, in this case. So as you see, today we outlined mainly two SDG goals. First of all, it's about education. The second was about, as I understand, international communication. It's some cultural exchange, not only cultural, but also political exchange, maybe, because when you are from one country, visit another and see, how to say, I want to explain an example. For example, when our colleagues from different, I mainly work with the Middle Eastern countries, when the young generation come to Russia at first time, they are really so wondered because firstly they ask, you know, firstly we imagine that Russia is something different. It's more wild. It's more different from our states. It's more, the generation of young people is so different from our youngsters. But now, when they visited Russia, when they have visited and they started to talk that we have a lot of common interest, we have common, how to say, worldview, and we have common threats, and we can cooperate. And I think that we need to work with you together to maybe to create some working group and to organize some visits, for example, speakers. Also, today's main speakers, maybe some more active youngsters who will visit different countries. I mean, for example, one time we will come all to Russia, then we can come to Egypt and Pakistan. And I hope that if everything will be okay from point of view of security, we'll visit Afghanistan. For me, I'm really fascinated and I want to visit it, but for the majority of other young person, maybe Afghanistan now is not so stable and but even without this, we can cooperate, for example, in education spheres. Because the majority of our speakers today and also participants, they represent different universities. We can organize more roundtables, conference events, and I really believe that it will help us to overcome these problems. It will help us to communicate and try to provide our common interests to protect them. And because, you know, as you see, we all talk in English. We understand each other. We understand that the majority of our problems is also common, that we need to resolve it. We outlined two main parts. It's about international cooperation and communication and also about education. So let's do it, let's change it. And I hope that we will deal with it and we will cope with it. So if you have another question or maybe comments or someone wants, I know that also, I'm so sorry for my Pakistani and Afghanistani colleagues. I know that now it's time to iftar, maybe 1 hour ago. I know that you are fasting and it's a little bit hard to make a speech during this. Yes, but one more time, thank you so much. Yeah.
You're welcome, Murad. You're welcome. Yes, most of the speakers, they were waiting for their turn and they didn't open their fast. So they did sacrifice, and I would like to give them good credits to all the Muslim brothers who had the timing of fasting and they were waiting for their turn.
Thank you so much, dear. I hope that your fasting, your prayers will be accepted by Allah. And I wish you and your family all the best. May Allah accept all your prayers and your life will be so blessed. So, dear colleagues, in this case, I don't want to, how to say, lodging our time and try to brief. First of all, I want to thank our all co-organizers, mainly about Russian Middle-East Association, Provincial Youth Assembly of Pakistan, Kateb Education and Culture Russian Federation. So especially our main organizers, it's the School of International and Regional Studies with the Faculty of World Economy and International Affairs. Mainly, of course, our professor, Dr. Vera Vishnikova, the head of our school, because he provides this opportunity. He's as an academic advisor and give us an opportunity to make this day, to make it great. So I want to personally thanks to our honorable guests, to Dr. Andrei Baklanov, to Dr. Ramazan Daurov, to Dr. Andrei Grigorьевич Fisun, to my brother Yahya Amin Khan, to Mohammed Feruz Navruzi. I'm so sorry that he is ill today and can't take part in our event, but I hope that next time he will be actively involved, and especially our speakers. As you know, today we also achieved one of SDG goals. It's mean about gender equality, because as you know, maybe it's not equality, but more about women emancipation. Because today, 5 from 8 speakers were girls, were women. And I hope that we will continue. You see how women are active in SDG, and that we are like a young generation. We understand that there is no difference between man and woman, and we all just work together, try to achieve the best for our future, the best for our families, for ourselves. So I think it's time to finish. One more time, thank you so much. And also I want to thank especially my dear friend from Egypt, Mohammed Bassiouni, because he provides for us these two charming speakers, Tasneem and Mina. Mina, Tasneem, one more time, thank you so much. It was really so great. I wish you all the best, dear colleagues. I hope that this pandemic will over and we will meet offline in Moscow, in Kabul, and in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Egypt, everything will be. So if you want to say something, please, the floor is yours. If not, we will finish. No?
Thank you. I will just say thank you, Murad, for organizing this event.
Welcome, welcome. I will be happy if it will help really to, how to say, make one more step in achieving sustainable development, because as a head of the Russian Middle-East Association, I really worrying about the situation with ecology, with the international cooperation. Now we have a difficult time in international affairs. You see today, maybe in a 10 minutes ago, Joe Biden accused Russian intelligence service on intervening in electoral process in the USA. And it's not so good because some experts said that it's like new Caribbean war, Cold War, Caribbean 2.0. So colleagues, goodbye, take care, and be happy. Bye-bye.